Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome back to another Fortnite video. In tonight's video, it's going to be a best settings video because a lot has changed. There's custom binds in this game that have actually been in for a while, custom controller binds, and now with the latest update, different sensitivities. You can change your edit hold delay, a bunch of different things. You can have a different sensitivity basically for fighting and for building, which completely changes the game, especially on console. I'm going to give you guys my best settings in this video, so I'm going to be talking about the best settings, of course. I don't know if you guys want to maybe watch this video on your phone while you guys have your settings up on your console, or just watch and listen for the settings you guys want to hear from me. I'm going to go through one by one and cover every sort of thing with the settings, and then we'll get more into custom binds and different stuff like that. So let's first off, if we could go for 1,500 likes, that would be awesome. I know you guys love my tips and tricks stuff, so let's go for 1,500 likes. Smack that like button, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. We're almost at 600,000 subscribers, so I really appreciate if you guys are new to go ahead and click that subscribe button. So first thing in the settings is going to be matchmaking region. You just want to set that to auto or go to the one that gives you the least ping. Wireless controller sensitivity. With these new updates, you have the option to customize it more than just on a scale of 1 out of 10. Me personally, I still use a 6.6 sensitivity, so that's a 0.60, 0.60. I tend to keep X and Y very similar. If you wanted to, I guess, you know, back in the day when you had to have the same sensitivity for fighting and building, you could have them different, but there's really no reason to nowadays. I run 6.6 on those. Next is the wireless controller targeting sensitivity. So this is basically when you're aiming down sights with any gun that doesn't have a scope on it. Mine is at 0.43, and the reason is because you want this to be low. The reason why I use a 0.6 and a 0.43 here is because you want these sensitivities to be low. These sensitivities only matter when fighting people. I guess when scouting and looking around, but when fighting people is the main thing. And when fighting people, what matters with your sensitivity, pretty much the only thing is accuracy. Can you hit the target from a distance? Can you hit them in the head? Can you hit them with a clean shotgun shot? That stuff matters, and that's why I like to run a 0.43. So you guys may think these are slow, but wait till we get to the wireless controller building sensitivity. That's where you guys can ramp your stuff up, right? So I use 0.43 as far as the targeting sensitivity. Next is the scope sensitivity, and once again, these are the sensitivities I use and I think are very, very good, of course, but it's all up to personal preference. You know, if you play great on a amazingly high sensitivity or an amazingly low one, that's usually pretty good. The problem is when you get messed up in your sensitivities and it's either way too high or way too low, and it's costing you games because of that. Next is wireless controller scope sensitivity. This is for scoped ARs, thermal scoped, or a sniper. I don't use those weapons very much. You know, a lot of people always ask me why I don't snipe. I snipe occasionally, but if there's explodes there or a second heal, I'll usually take that over it, or even a grapple gun. But my scope sensitivity is 0.65, and I have that just because you want to be a bit quicker so you can sort of snap on targets with the sniper, because that's how those are made to go. And this next one is new. This is the wireless controller building sensitivity. Now, this one basically, what this does, and a lot of people are confused about this, but when you switch into build modes, when you press B or when you press circle and you switch into build mode, your sensitivity is going to be changed. I put this at a 1.3. Now, this is pretty low, to be honest, but the reason behind this is because I had it a little bit higher, but I realized there is, you know, of course, when this sensitivity only affects you while building, but a lot of fights you go from straight building into shooting, and there is a little adjustment period there where you have to realize, okay, my sensitivity is lower now because my building sensitivity is higher and I've adjusted, and it was a little bit hard to adjust to that, so I'm at a 1.3, but honestly, with wireless controller building sensitivity, I would say almost go as high as you can, as long as that transition period still is okay. So if you go to like 2.0 on this, you probably would have to up your normal sensitivity to like an 8 to sort of compete, so that you don't have that little transition sort of error, you know, where your sensitivity change is so drastic you can't hit your shots. But I use a 1.3, but I'm gonna be moving that up, and up, hopefully getting to like a 1.4, eventually maybe even a 1.5, so I can build at max speed. But I think it's better to, whenever you're moving your sensitivities, move them gradually, don't make complete changes. Next in the options is invert view. I have that off. Streamer mode I have on. I think streamer mode is great for this season because it gives you an advantage in the game, because you can see people's skins in the kill feed, and basically by seeing that, you can know when you're third party in a fight or coming into a different fight which player has been knocked out, which player knocked him out, so that they would probably be weak, because when two people fight and you hear shotguns going off and SMGs, most likely they're both going to be weak when you approach them. So so that's why that matters. Hidden matchmaking delay, this doesn't matter unless you're trying to hide from stream snipers. Scale of my HUD, I just use a 1.0. You could lower it if you wanted to. It doesn't really matter. 1.0 is fine for me, and that's what I rock with. Show spectator count, I put that off. I don't want to know who's watching me. Sometimes a lot of people get nervous when people are watching them. You might as well turn that off. Sprint by default, I have this off, but this could be on if you do some custom bindings, which we'll talk about probably later in this video. Sprint cancels reload, definitely have that off. Tap to search, I have on. You want that because you know, so you don't like accidentally let go of the button when you're reviving a teammate or when you're getting a chest. It just makes it a lot easier. You can still hold it down and it works the same, but if you don't and you just tap it, it works also. So I have that on. Toggle targeting, I have off. Reset building choice, I have on. Basically, this is just standard. This is the way that I've learned how to build. So if you've had this off the whole time, you probably keep that. But I have that on. Edit mode, aim assist on. Always have aim assist on, man. That's what is such a huge advantage of console. With console settings, you want to have that aim assist on. Edit mode, aim assist, I have that on as well. I don't feel that big drag that was there a couple seasons ago on the edit mode. If you have problems editing because it drags you away, you could turn that off. I personally don't, so I leave that on. Turbo building, definitely have that on. Auto material change on, that will save your life. Controller auto run, I have off. I like to just sprint traditionally. These are all personal preferences. Cross-platform parties, I have on. Auto open doors, I actually have off because you don't want this. You know, there's certain times you want to open a door and then go around the side or be strategic about it, right? Next is auto pick up weapons. This is good to have on if you're landing competitively and like landed on a chest with an enemy to auto pick up that weapon. Personally, I have this off because I don't want to just pick up everything and have my inventory completely crowded, because I'm someone that likes to have an inventory that can be nicely sorted, so I have that off. Auto sort consumables to the right, I have that on. You want that on so whenever you pick up a potion or bandages early game, you don't have to waste that 1 or 2 seconds to reorganize it because it just goes all the way to the right side. I wish they had it so that like other stuff went all the way to the right side as well. Maybe like usables like impulse grenades or grapple guns, but you can't set that right now, so it's just consumables to the right. Builder Pro, build immediately. This is a new option. I have that turned on. I just think that's the best way to do it, so you don't have any delay and people aren't shooting you through what you think would be walls. A lot of times people are trying to use turbo build and like there would be a delay and different stuff like that, so just have this on. Controller edit hold time. Now this is interesting because this basically relies on how long do you have to hold your circle button or whatever you have edit binded to before it pops up. Now you obviously want the speed as low as possible, so I went to the lowest at 0.10, but I realized it was glitching out a lot, and times when I just meant to switch build mode, it would, you know, prompt me to edit, and I wasn't ready to edit, so it was messing up me in build fights and when I was playing around with it in playground. So I put this at 0.15. I think that's the perfect amount where it rarely ever messes me up, but my edits are still almost instantaneous, and on console 0.15 is very, very nice. Next is vibration, I have that off, and then recorded replays I have on. So those are my settings as far as those sensitivities and stuff like that. Everyone else probably wants to know, what do I use as far as controls? Now I use Builder Pro and I do not use any custom keybinds, and I'll tell you why. Custom keybinds are great if you have a standard controller. Some good custom keybinds that I recommend would be to unbind sprint and then turn on the sprint by default in the settings, and then you can change that L3 button to edit and make your edits a little bit faster, or change that L3 button to jump, make your X button or your A button, depending on what console you are, to your edit, and then you can have an instant edit as well as a jump. The only problem with that is that sometimes when you squeeze the controller too hard, you're going to be jumping or randomly editing. Those are definitely some good options though, but personally the reason why I use no custom keybinds is I think custom keybinds were great at first, but now that they've reduced the hold edit time, they're not as important. Plus I have a scuff controller, so what a scuff controller allows me to do is I have 2 paddles on the back that work as my jump button and as my pull out my edits, and also, or pull out my builds and edit button. It's X and O, right? Or A and B on Xbox, I think it would be. And scuff controllers are very, very good. I don't need to use any custom keybinds because my controller, and this is a completely tournament legal controller, pretty much every pro console player uses them, They're absolutely amazing, and it allows me to basically outplay people and have comfortable controls where I'm not squeezing too hard and I don't have to prioritize that L3 button. So those are some custom key binds you could do, I guess key binds or controller binds. But personally, what I recommend doing is do what is comfortable to you. Don't do stuff just because people recommend it, but if it messes you up, L3 to edit can be a super quick edit, but it can also mess you up in a build fight and you squeeze the controller too hard and all of a sudden you're on edit mode. So that's what I use. Scuff controllers, I 100% recommend them. They are a little bit expensive, but they absolutely do the job and are amazing, and I'm sponsored by them. You can use code GOBLIN to get a discount. scuffgaming.com, link is down in the description. Absolutely beast. So that's about it for my settings. That's what I recommend for settings. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Key things are to have that build sensitivity, man. You want that build sensitivity to be high, and you want to make sure that your aiming sensitivity, you can hit your shots, and your build sensitivity, you can build like an absolute TSM myth legend. So thanks for watching. Drop a like, subscribe, have a great night, and I'm out. Peace.